Zion Harmon. He has one of the most strange stories you will ever hear about, and his pathway to where he is today is kind of weird, and today I'm just here to explain to y'all his story. The 5'11", 175-pound point guard has done a lot of traveling in his life. So with that being said, let's throw it all the way back to where things started. Harmon actually grew up in the Washington, D.C. area before moving to Tennessee. He moved to a very small city southeast of Nashville right before 7th grade. And when he was just 13 years old, he was playing varsity. He wound up starting this lethal varsity career at Lighthouse Christian School, and he put on a show. He averaged right at 17 points per game and 5 assists for the varsity team. And with him turning 14 right after the season, he became the first 7th grader to ever compete in the Nike EYBL. And very shortly after that, he moved about 80 miles north to Bowling Green, Kentucky. And he picked up right where he left off. Harmon averaged 16.8 points per game and helped lead his team to a 36-2 record. And to cap off that 36-2 record, it also included a 29-game winning streak to close the season. And Zion Harmon and his team wound up bringing home the program's first state championship in school history. And in the title game, he was the team's highest scorer with 18 points. But before the state championship, Zion Harmon said him and his dad made an oath to get closer to God during this process. After the state championship, he goes on to say in an interview, "We prayed and stuck to our regiment, shooting every morning at 5 a.m. and every day after practice, and then we were blessed with a state championship." And he also added to that later in the interview just how close him and his father got to God, and that's always a great thing to see. A lot of coaches and a lot of people say Zion is one of the hardest workers they've ever seen. And when asked about this, Zion goes on to say, "Give everything 110%, do it for God and not for man. Let him take care of the rest." So it is very clear that Zion Harmon has his priorities straight and he's very religious. And very shortly after the state championship run, he also had another great achievement. He was selected to play for the USA national team, and they also wound up winning the gold medal. He wasn't the youngest to actually play for the US team, that would be 7th Woods, but he is the second youngest of all time. So things were looking really great for Zion. But right after this is when things start to go downhill and just get kind of weird. He decided to transfer schools once again. But this time, his eligibility was denied and they even had to go to court. Basically, what the court was saying is that he has to sit out 1 year, but they just tried to fight against it. And I can really see why it went this far, because he has been to many schools in his very short high school career. So it really wouldn't be fair to continue to let him transfer and do this with no consequences. So the last season, he actually missed hooping in the fall due to an ankle injury, and because the Kentucky High School Athletic Association deemed him ineligible. And it's hard for a player that loves the game to not play, and he goes on to say this: "I would be mad for no reason, or I just walk around real quiet some days. Somebody thinks something is wrong with me, but it's just the fact that I couldn't play. It just kind of threw me off." And it's really hard for a guy that loves the game and goes as hard as Zion does to sit out a whole year. But I'm a firm believer in what doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger, and he turned this frustration into motivation. He really used this opportunity as an advantage, and he even says this: "I try to look at everything as a lesson." He says, "I didn't want to fall behind just because I was off the court. So I learned how to watch the game more, observe the game, and study the game." And for a very young kid, those are very mature words. And with Zion getting back on the court this year, it's clear to see he's taken out that frustration. He is completely going off and just balling out every night, and he's having fun with it. With being a 4-star recruit and easily one of the top 20 players in his class, he has a lot of potential. And just by looking at how hard he works, he's definitely going to be something special at college, and maybe even the NBA. With Zion Harmon and his family moving a lot, they've made a lot of sacrifices. And here's what his dad has said about those sacrifices so far. We're Christian people, so we believe in the power of sacrifice. When you get up early in the morning, you put that work in, that sacrifice, it pays off. And before we go any farther in this video, I absolutely love that these people are real Christians and just put God first in everything. It's just awesome to see because we have an amazing God. And just by going off of what his dad has said, all that hard work, it's definitely paid off so far. Our futures are never clear, and even for Zion Harmon, his future may not be clear. But one thing I can say is that when you have God by your side, just like these people do, your future, it is clear because he'll be there for you through everything. God will definitely guide you in the right direction if you just follow his path. And that is exactly what Zion Harmon is doing. But hey man, with all of this being said, that's about going to wrap up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something. If you are new to the channel, what are you doing? Join the family and hit that subscribe button and leave a like for more. And as always, let's be great. I'm out, y'all. Peace.